Good morning everyone, I'm Tamlyn, this is Sewn on the Tyne and I am going on a little adventure today. So, some of you may know, some of you may not know, I'm currently on holiday in somewhere called Lyme Regis, which is in Dorset, very south of the country, pretty much as far away from Newcastle as you could get. Not quite, but you know, pretty far away. And while I'm down here, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to catch up with a couple of lovely sewing friends and do a little bit of fabric shopping, go to some fabric shops that I've never been to before. So that is what we are going to do. I've just got in the car. It's about an hour and a half's drive to my first destination, which is going to be Tavistock, and the wonderful Jess, who runs a shop called So Much More. I'm very excited, and I'm going to be meeting two lovely ladies there, who I think I'll keep as a surprise for now, although you might guess if you know your geography at all. So I'm going to set off on the journey and I'll catch up with you when I get there. I'm finally in Tavistock after a bit of an eventful journey. I got stuck behind a car on fire, completely burnt out, so I had to sit for half an hour while obviously the emergency services sorted it all out, and yeah, quite scary really. I don't think anybody was hurt, I think they managed to get out, but yeah, so I've just parked in Tavistock and I'm just on my way up to So Much More to see three lovely ladies. We've got Jess, who runs the shop, then two other special guests who I'll show you very soon. So we've arrived in Plymouth and managed to park, and Helen's here. And we're just going to find Angela and then go for some lunch hopefully, because I'm starving. I had a smaller breakfast than usual and I'm ready for some food now. It's about 1:30 I think, and yeah, it's definitely lunchtime, and then a little bit more fabric shopping. Hopefully you saw that beautiful view, and yeah, it's such a lovely part of the world. come and show you this stunning view. And the sun is shining, so that's just perfect. There's the lovely ladies. And we all have a shopping bag. Hello, so I am back from my fabric adventures. I'm back from my holiday, and hopefully you enjoyed just having a little look at the adventure that I went on. So we spent the last week in Lyme Regis in Dorset on holiday, a family holiday with Sam, Taylor, and then Sam's parents as well, and it was so lovely. We had such a lovely week. But as part of that, I had planned and arranged to meet up with the very lovely Helen and Angela. So Helen is Stitch Rip Repeat on YouTube and Instagram. Angela is Devon Thread Tales, and it was just the perfect opportunity. I'm not often that far south. I live in Newcastle upon Tyne, which is the northeast of England and very far away from the south coast of England. And I just thought it was the perfect opportunity to arrange to meet up with those lovely ladies. I've met them before a couple of times. We've done other things together and they're my friends, and I just thought it was the perfect chance to see them and also visit a couple of fabric shops around their local area. So on the Wednesday, we had arranged that I would travel over to Plymouth to meet them. Well, I would go to Tavistock first and meet them there, and then we would go on to Plymouth and we would have some lunch and we would do a little bit more fabric shopping and we would just spend some lovely time together, and that's what we did. So my journey from Lyme Regis to Plymouth should have taken just under an hour and a half. However, I got stuck in really bad traffic on the way there because a car burnt out. Dreadful, but obviously caused huge traffic queues, and I was stuck for around half an hour, didn't move at all. So I knew the ladies would just wait for me. That was fine. They went for a cup of tea, had a bit of a catch up while they waited for me, and then I met them at Jess's shop, which is so much more. It was the first time I've ever been there before. I've shopped with Jess online and I follow her YouTube and her Instagram, but I'd never actually been to the shop, so it was really lovely to kind of see it in real life and meet Jess as well. She was just such a lovely, welcoming shop owner, and it was really nice to spend a little bit of time there. I had a good look around. She had lots of lovely fabrics and patterns and haberdashery, and I made 2 purchases. So let me get those for you. So they came in this lovely pink bag, and like I said, I purchased 2. Now, the first one is a fabric that I've got already. I've had this before in other colours from other places. It's just a lovely soft knit fabric. I think it's like a blend of viscose, some polyester, I can't remember what else, but it's a lovely like cardigan type knitted fabric. So I was umming and ahhing between 2 colours because this is the colour I was going to get, like a lovely tealy foresty green. They're 2 different colours, aren't they? But you know what I mean. And I couldn't decide between this one. Well, I decided on this one, but then I spotted an emerald green just before I was about to have this one cut. And I couldn't decide then. My mind was sort of thrown, but Angela was so lovely. She took me through to the mirror and we held up the 2 different colours to my face, under my chin, and Angela advised me that this was the better colour to go for. And I'm really happy with that decision. So thank you, Angela, for your help. I got 1.5 meters of this, and I'm going to be making the Tilly and the Buttons Bertha cardigan. I love that pattern. I've made it before and it's just a great throw-on cardigan pattern, and it's going to be perfect for this fabric. Now, I think Angela actually bought some of this as well. It was a very last minute decision, but she bought some of this as well, and Helen bought some in a different colourway. So yes, we all picked up some of that lovely soft knit. I think that was £12 a metre. I think. If any of these fabrics are still in stock, by the way, I will link to all of them down below. And then I spotted this beautiful crinkle viscose. Now, Jess had this in 2 different colours, and I initially had the pink and orange colourway in my hand, but then I saw this lime green and blue colourway, and you'll know that I'm just kind of a bit obsessed with this vibrant lime green colour at the minute. And then cobalt blue is one of my all-time favourites, so I just had to have it. I thought it was really sort of holiday vibes. I absolutely loved it. So again, this was £12 a metre, and I got 2 meters of this one to make either a little cord, like a top and shorts, or a little romper. I'm not sure, I haven't actually decided on a pattern or anything, but I just thought if I got 2 meters that would cover me for the sort of thing that I want to make. So they were my So Much More purchases. Then we drove over to Plymouth. That took around 40 minutes, I think, and managed to get parked at Royal William Yard. And then we went for some lunch, which was really nice, and had a really good chat there. And then we went to Make Fabric Boutique. Again, obviously never been there in person, and I don't actually know if I've shopped with them online. I've admired their fabrics from a distance, but it was the first time that I had the opportunity to meet Lizzie as well, the lovely owner, so that was really nice. Yeah, I made some purchases there. So both shops were really, really lovely to go to. I would say in terms of their fabric range, Make definitely had more like designer and name fabrics, so their prices were probably a little bit more expensive overall, but that's because they had things like Siwat 6, Cousette, Atelier Brunette, I think, Atelier Jupe. So they had a lot of the designer names, and Jess didn't have so many of those. So it was just a sort of a slightly different price point, but lots of beautiful fabrics in both. So yes, it took me a while to decide what to get in Make, and we were looking at lots of different fabrics, and it was really funny because the mirror in Make, you had to almost squat to look at it, and Angela kept getting into some quite amusing positions to check if fabrics were going to suit her, and I didn't manage to get a photo, and I wish I had, but you can imagine it. So anyway, I ended up purchasing 3 fabrics from there, one of which isn't for me, one is for Taylor, but again I got a lovely bag, and the fabrics were all wrapped up beautifully. So Lizzie wrapped them up in beautiful tissue, and it just felt very special actually. And this is my lovely little stack of fabric. So the fabric for Taylor is this poppy sweatshirting fabric, which is dinosaur themed. So they had this in 2 different colours, and they also had some of the lovely Siwat 6 fabrics, and I sent photos of them to Sam and said, please can you ask Taylor which one he would like for a jumper, and he went for this one. He's very into dinosaurs at the moment, so, and we were on the Jurassic Coast, so it made sense. So that one is going to be some sort of sweatshirt. I haven't decided which one it will be. Then I went for this beautiful stretch viscose. I just love the colours, I love the really bold design in it, and like I said, it has got some stretch in it, which is quite unusual for a viscose. I can't remember how much this was. Let me see if I can find it. Lavender Rosella viscose stretch, £16 per metre. So I can't remember how much I got. It might have been 2.5, or it might be 3. I think 2.5. I think I went for 2.5, and I was wanting to make some sort of jumpsuit. I was talking about the Zadie jumpsuit by Paper Theory, but I never quite got the fit to work on that on me, on the bottom area. So I might revisit that and just look at the sizing again, because I think that would look really, really nice as the Zadie actually. Or I might think of something else. But yes, that was my second fabric. And then the third one is a really lovely viscose that I just loved, and then Angela said she's been eyeing it up as well, and Angela did end up buying it, so we are thinking of doing a little collaboration on this fabric where we both sew it up and then share what we've made. But it is this one. So it's got that like checkerboard look to it, sort of a bit retro, which I really, really like. It's like a really soft blue and then a black, and this is just a 100% viscose, and this one was £12 a metre, I remember that, and I got 3 meters of this one. I'm not actually going to tell you what I was thinking of for this fabric, because like I said, probably going to collaborate with Angela on this one. So yes, those were my purchases, and I just had the most lovely day. So thank you so much to Angela and Helen, and thank you to Jess and Lizzie for being so welcoming as well. It was really fabulous. Now, I thought my fabric adventures would extend further in the week actually, because I was also quite close to Poundbury in Dorchester, which is where the wonderful Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door has her shop. However, I couldn't make it work. So I spent the day with Helen and Angela on Wednesday and I was out for the full day. So the Thursday, obviously I wanted to be back with my family, and then we only had one more day, which was the Friday, and I'd thought possibly in the afternoon, that's when I would head over to Beyond the Pink Door. But the weather was glorious, and after a bit of a mixed week weather-wise, to finally have a day of beautiful weather, I just couldn't leave the beach. I just thought it would have been criminal really to leave my family and leave the beach when we were having such a lovely time in the sunshine. So I had to message Andrea and say, I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be able to come. She's closed on a Saturday, so we could have gone on the way home on the Saturday, but alas, it was not to be. I had ordered a click and collect order as well to kind of force me into going, but I just couldn't make it work in the end. So I'll have to arrange to go to Andrea's shop another time, definitely. And yes, I will be placing another little order from her so I can have my other order shipped alongside that one. So I had a wonderful holiday. I had a lovely day of seeing some fabulous friends and doing some fabric shopping. Just before I go, I wanted to share something else with you. I've had this thing sitting next to me for a few weeks now. If you remember back to April, I went and spent a lovely few hours with So Let's Sparkle with Sam, my lovely friend, in Leamington Spa, and it was super nice, but she presented me with a couple of presents and I've had it sitting next to me to share with you since then, and I've just never got round to it. So beautiful Sam made me this really lovely boxy pouch, which is just so beautifully made with lots of lovely little touches. Sam and I are both very celestial, spacey, kind of obsessed, so she chose this fabric and zip pull especially for me, so thank you, Sam. It's also lined with some really beautiful starry fabric too. There was a lovely card and a lovely message in there which was very special, and then she got me this fabulous mug too, because I'm very into the whole cowboy, you know, country kind of style at the moment. So thank you, Sam. I've had that sitting there all this time and now I can finally go and have a drink in it. So thank you again so much. And then finally, just before I head off, I would like to say thank you to 3 wonderful people who have left me donations on my Ko-fi page recently. And those people are Eileen, Sarah and Brenda. Thank you so much for your kind donations, your generosity. It's really appreciated. My Ko-fi link is always in the description box down below if anybody ever does want to contribute. It's always really appreciated. It's just a little way of saying thanks to content creators that you watch and enjoy. It's like a little way of tipping them and showing your appreciation. I do it for other people that I watch, so it's always lovely when I receive a little tip in there as well. So thank you so much. Right, I think I'm going to leave it there, and I hope to see you all again really, really soon. I hope you're all keeping really well, and yeah, I'll see you again soon in my next video. Happy sewing. Bye.